بے قرار ہوں، میں بے قرار ہوں طیبہ کی حاضری کے لیے، میں بے قرار ہوں طیبہ کی حاضری کے لیے۔ بہت ہی خوبصورت نشید میں آپ کی خدمت میں پیش کرتا ہوں، سماعت فرمائیں۔ جن کی تعریف خود رب کعبہ کرے، جن کی تعریف خود رب کعبہ کرے، ان کی عظمت گٹانا غلط بات ہے، ہاں غلط بات ہے، ان کی عظمت گٹانا غلط بات ہے۔ جن کو قرآن یاسین و طٰہٰ کہے، جن کو قرآن یاسین و طٰہٰ کہے، ان پہ انگلی اٹھانا غلط بات ہے، ہاں غلط بات ہے، ان پہ انگلی اٹھانا غلط حیات ہیں اپنے روح اور اپنے جسم کے ساتھ. یہ شاعر اس شعر میں بیان کرتا ہے اپنی قبروں میں زندہ ہے سب انبیاء اپنی روحوں کے ساتھ اپنے جسموں کے ساتھ اس کی تصدیق کرتا ہے قرآن جب اس کی تصدیق کرتا ہے قرآن جب ان کو مردہ بتانا غلط بات ہے ان کو مردہ بتانا غلط بات ہے ہاں غلط بات ہے ہاں غلط بات ہے جن کی تعریف خود رب کعبہ کرے ان کی عظمت گٹانا غلط بات ہے ہاں غلط بات ہے جن کو قرآن یاسین و طٰہٰ کہے ان پہ انگلی اٹھانا غلط بات ہے ہاں غلط بات ہے ہاں غلط بات ہے. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.
دوسرے کو لیجیے. ہم نے آنکھوں سے دیکھا نہیں ہے مگر ہم نے آنکھوں سے دیکھا نہیں ہے مگر ان کی تصویر سینے میں موجود ہے. ہم نے آنکھوں سے دیکھا نہیں ہے مگر ہم نے آنکھوں سے دیکھا نہیں ہے مگر ان کی تصویر سینے میں موجود ہے. جس نے لا کر کلام الہی دیا جس نے لا کر کلام الہی دیا وہ محمد مدینے میں موجود ہے وہ محمد مدینے میں موجود ہے. پھول کھلتے ہیں پر پر کے صلی علی پھول کھلتے ہیں پر پر کے صلی علی جھوم کر کہہ رہی ہے عباد سما. پھول کھلتے ہیں پر پر کے صلی علی جھوم کر کہہ رہی ہے عباد سما. ایسی خوشبو چمن کے گلوں میں کہاں ایسی خوشبو چمن کے گلوں میں کہاں جو نبی کے پسینے میں موجود ہے. جس نے لا کر کلام الہی دیا جس نے لا کر کلام الہی دیا وہ محمد مدینے میں موجود ہے. ہم نے مانا کہ جنت بہت ہے حسین ہم نے مانا کہ جنت بہت ہے حسین چھوڑ کر ہم مدینہ نہ جائے کہیں. یوں تو جنت میں سب ہے مدینہ نہیں یوں تو جنت میں سب ہے مدینہ نہیں. اور جنت مدینے میں موجود ہے، جس نے لا کر کلام الہی دیا، جس نے لا کر کلام الہی دیا، وہ محمد مدینے میں موجود ہے۔ ہم نے آنکھوں سے دیکھا نہیں ہے مگر، ہم نے آنکھوں سے دیکھا نہیں ہے مگر، ان کی تصویر سینے میں موجود ہے، جس نے لا کر کلام الہی دیا، جس نے لا کر کلام الہی دیا، وہ محمد مدینے میں موجود ہے، وہ محمد مدینے میں موجود ہے۔
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا وسندنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تبارك وتعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. ربي زدني علما وارزقني فهما. My dear brothers, young and old, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now I know why Naeem Sahib holds the mic in his hands. The voice is more vibrant. See the difference in quality? Makes a big difference to the speaker, especially when you've been fasting and coughing and less sleep, mashallah. So it begins of inflammation, Allahu A'lam. But when the speaker system is good, like it is in this masjid, you can relax to a degree. My brothers, first of all, let me congratulate you guys. Yeah? Let me congratulate you guys. What am I congratulating you on? Anybody got any ideas? Ayaz bhai? What am I congratulating you on? You'll never guess. You can sit here till Fajr and you will not know what I'm going to congratulate you on. I've only got 10 minutes, so I'll quickly tell you. I am congratulating you on your Iman. SubhanAllah. I was going through, these signs of day judgment, the minor signs and the major signs. I'll just quickly go through two hadiths. But then I came across this hadith. My friends, this hadith is narrated by Sayyidina Anas radiyallahu anhu, recorded in the Musnad al-Bazzar, and it's a Sahih hadith. Now, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the Sahaba Kiram, he said, "Oh my Sahaba, ayyul khalqi a'jabu imanan? Ayyul khalqi a'jabu imanan? Which of Allah's creations iman do you find most astonishing? Whose iman do you find most astonishing?" Sahaba Kiram said, "Ya Rasulullah, al-malaika. We find the iman of the angels most astonishing." Upon this, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, how can they not believe when they are with Allah? How can the angels not believe when they are already with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? They see the amazing things that happen in the heavens. They believe. Sahaba Kiram said, "Ya Rasulullah, an-nabiyyun." Then the second guess is that the most astonishing people whose of Allah's creation, whose iman is most astonishing, it must be the prophets. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the Sahaba Kiram, "Oh my Sahaba, kayfa la yu'minun wal wahyu yanzilu alayhim?" There is meaning that how can they not believe when Allah is sending wahi to them? Of course they're going to believe. Sahaba Kiram said, "Ya Rasulullah, it must be us. It must be the Sahaba Kiram. Our Iman must be most amazing. And Rasulullah said to them that your Iman, how can you not believe when the Prophet is amongst you? How can you not believe when the Prophet is amongst you? Then Sahaba Kiram said, Ya Rasulullah, they kept quiet. Upon this, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them, the most astonishing Iman is these people. قوم يجيئون من بعدكم يجدون كتابا من الوحي فيؤمنون به ويتبعونه. It'll be the people who go after you, you guys, your children, inshallah, who come and they find a book of revelation. They find the Quran and they believe in it and they follow it. These people, their Iman is the most amazing. My friends, you are in 21st century. Is that right? 21st century? You know, there's a sign of the judgment that time will go so fast, so quickly. A year like a month like a week like a day like an hour like the time it takes to burn a small date branch. Subhanallah. You know how many people there in the dunya around you? Have a guess. How many people are there on this planet? Any guesses? Huh? 7 billion. Sorry, billion, yeah. 8 billion and counting. In January 2024, you had 4.3 births and 2 deaths every second. 8 billion in the 90s, 30s, 20s. How many people were there then? And before that, in the 19th century, 18th century, very less people. My friends, Allah Ta'ala is sending the arwah into the dunya. Time is quickly coming to an end. This whole system is going to finish. And that day is called Qiyamah. This test that Allah has given you and I is coming rapidly to its conclusion. And who are the players in this dunya? Who are the players apart from you and I? Who are these nefarious, evil players? The biggest player is who? Who? Shaitan. Shaitan, Iblis, this enemy of mankind, this open enemy who's with you, or his henchmen are with you. So Shaitan's mission is to take as many of the sons of Adam and the daughters of Adam into Jahannam with him. He knows he's going. He knows he's going, and he is the epitome of every evil. My friends, you come into the dunya with a clean heart. These many children, they are innocent children, they're light. Our mashayikh, when they sit here, you see how much radiance they give off, the energy they give off, because of their ma'sumiyyat, to the degree that less sins. So we all come with no sins. And as we go through our life, my friends, a point comes when we lose this quality of being at ease. Yeah? When you lose this quality of being at ease, what do we call it? Disease. Okay, you become diseased. Now, disease doesn't mean that physically you've got ailments. It just means you don't feel happy. You don't feel sukoon. You don't, things don't make you happy like they did when you were younger. Illa mashallah, if you sit in some majalis of make people, you feel this happiness again. Why does that happen? Because our sins kick in and our hearts become dark. Yeah? And that can be reversed only by doing tawbah and by sitting with the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I was saying the biggest player in this dunya now who wants to take it to Jahannam is Shaitan. Yeah? 8 billion people and counting. The dunya has to finish. Allah is sending the rule to the dunya, all that arwah. My friends, only Allah knows when Qiyamah will come, when it takes place. But when you guys leave the dunya, your Qiyamah has happened. Man mata faqad qamat qiyamatuhu. Whoever dies for all purposes, his Qiyamah is taken place. He can't come back. No one comes back from the grave. No one comes back from the grave. You bury your dead, you can wait there a year, you can wait there a zillion years or a trillion years. You will not see that person, no matter how beloved he is to you, come out of that grave. Fact. Has anybody come? No. Nobody will come out of that grave. We bury these people, we do their janazah, we put them on our shoulders, and yet we don't have ibrat. that our time is coming to an end. What is your most precious commodity if I ask you today? Uzaifa. Time. If I ask you what's your most precious commodity, my friend, you won't say your wife or your bank balance or your beautiful townhouse or your cars. And if you do, you are deluded. Your most valuable commodity is your time. Your time. And you know what the amazing thing is? You don't even know how much of it you got left. No one knows. How many guys do you know, they come out of the masjid, they fall down, hit the back of the head, and they die on the spot? How many footballers, the healthiest people around, they have cardiac arrests, myocardial infarctions, they have strokes, and they're dead within the hour? How many guys? I had a friend, Bijara, in Ramadan about 4 years ago, Fayaz by Allah, the elevate his rank and give him Jannah for those, amazing person. He went to do a janazah in the graveyard, alive. He died in that graveyard. And the amazing thing was, the ambulance place was just around the corner. You have 6 minutes when you have a heart attack. They didn't make it in time. Bishara was the janazah behind you. The next day, janazah was there as well. My friends, we are all deluded. If we think we choose the time of our leaving the dunya, we are deluded. You didn't choose the time of coming to the dunya, and you most certainly will not fix the time of leaving the dunya. So in between that, what do we need to do? We need to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, in the hadith, it's ajib. Ajaban li amri al-mu'min, inna amrahu kullahu khayr. Every act of a believer is good. Either he has hardship and he does sabr, he gets rewarded, or he has blessing and he's thankful and he gets rewarded. But my friend, listen to this hadith of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam and understand how close you and I are to the day of judgment. When it's time up for everybody. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah says that these are the small signs, by the way, the normal things, nothing extraordinary, not Dajjal, not Daba, not Tuli Shams, none of the extraordinary things that you normally see. And the young guys amongst us, unfortunately, these guys don't know any better. They've always seen it like this. You and I maybe have seen the good days. Yeah? The days where, where things were normal. So the hadith says that Sayyidina Abu Hurairah says that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that إِذَا اتَّخَذَ الْفَيْءُ دِوَلًا وَالْأَمَانَةُ مَغْنَمًا وَالزَّكَاةُ مَغْرَمًا وَتُعَلِّمَ لِغَيْرِ الدِّينِ وَأَتَى الرَّجُلُ إِمْرَأَتَهُ وَأَقَّ أُمَّهُ وَأَدْنَى صَدِيقَهُ وَأَقْصَى أَبَاهُ وَظَهَرَتِ الْأَصْوَاتُ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ وَسَادَ الْقَبِيلَةَ فَاسِقُهُمْ وَكَانَ زَعِيمَ الْقَوْمِ أَرْذَلَهُمْ. And I come to the tarjuma in a moment. وَأُكْرِمَ الرَّجُلُ مَخَافَةَ شَرِّهِ وَزَهَرَتِ الْقَيْنَاتِ وَالْمَعَازِفِ وَشُرِبَتِ الْخُمُورِ الله أكبر وَلَعَنَ آخِرُ هذه الأمة أولها فارتقبوا عند ذلك ريحا حمراء وزلزلة وخسفا ومسخا وقصفا وآيات تتابعة فلذلك كنت يسلك فتتابع أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. That my friends, Rasulullah said that at time, when this time comes, look at the signs. When Mali Fay becomes something that you pass around. Mali Fay, when the Muslim armies would go to fight, and when they went to fight, though the army seeing these majestic warriors of Allah, understood that the game was over. Much like the Vikings. You guys know the history of the Vikings? The Vikings thought they were the men, the Norsemen. Even now, I have a friend, Montasin Sahib, I call him Viking. He's a big guy. These Vikings were the legends of their time. When they used to go to an area, they just look and the people would know that these are the men. 6 foot blue, tall, blue-eyed, handsome guys. When they saw the Muslims, they understood that the game was over for them as well. They saw who the real men was. They understood. So when Muslims went to fight and the other army surrendered, they didn't fight, the mal that came to the Muslims was called Mali Fight. Or when there was a treaty and the money that came was Mali Fight, and that had certain rules. This is how it was supposed to be given. Public welfare. After the death of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now the hadith says that the first thing is when that Mali Fight becomes something that you pass around. Here, you have some, give some to your friend. When that comes, that's the first sign. Wal amanatu maghnaman, and when amanat becomes like a booty. If I say to you, hey Muaz, hold this 10,000, I'm going on a trip somewhere. And I come back, I say, Muaz, can I have my 10,000 back? What does Muaz say? What do you say, Muaz?
I don't know.
You say, what 10,000? Oh, I don't have it. Oh, have you got the right person? So that becomes like a booty, Mali boot, I can go out, I can use 10,000. That's the second point. The third is اتخذ الفيء دولا والأمان والزكاة مغرما. When zakat becomes a tax. How many guys pay zakat happily? Not understanding that this is a way to keep their wealth safe and for it to grow. How many guys do that? People give it as a tax. That's the third sign. And then it continues, وَتُعَلِّمَ لِغَيْرِ الدِّينِ. How many ulama are there? May Allah keep us safe from being among the people who go and learn the deen, not for Allah's pleasure, but for other purposes. And then وَأَتَاءَ الرَّجُلُ إِمْرَأَتَهُ. How many guys can relate to this? They've got a beautiful wife. And they fulfill their wife's every desire, and they break their mother's heart. وَأَتَاءَ الرَّجُلُ إِمْرَأَتَهُ وَأَقَمَهُ. Not just that, the father. وَأَدْنَى صَدِيقَهُ وَأَقْصَى أَبَاهُ. They bring their friends close and they distance their father. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, take note of these things. These are the signs. Then it continues. وَزَهَرَتِ الْأَصْوَاتُ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. May Allah forgive us. When voices are raised in the house of Allah, this is another sign. And then it continues. When the leader or the leader of a tribe is their most sinful person. Remember Trump? He's on the comeback trail again. When the leader of a nation is their most heinous and the most sinful person, and when the ambassador of the tribe is the most unnoble person, and then Hadith continues that وَأُكْرِمَ الرَّجُلُ مَخَافَةَ شَرِّهِ. You respect a person because you're scared of him. Because of his shar and mischief, you will agree with him and you will say yes to him because you're fearful of his shararat. And then the hadith continues, وَزَهْرَةَ الْقَيْنَاتُ الْمَعَازِفِ. Singing women will become frequent on your screens. And instruments of singing will become, in England we used to have Britain's Got Talent and all these things. Yeah, so common. And then the hadith continues, that the last of this nation will curse the beginning of the nation. Who? You know who I'm talking about. Certain segments curse the Sahaba Kiram. This has never happened before. Ask the Christians about their, early people and their respect. Same with the Jews. But a time will come, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that when this part of the Ummah will start cursing Sahaba Kiram. Al-Iyadu Billah. So when Rasulullah said this, he said, everything has consequences. So when you see these signs, and these are minor signs, then Allah Rasul says that, فَارْتَقِبُوا عِنْدَ ذَلِكَ رِيحًا حَمْرًا. When this happens, wait for red winds. Signs of Allah's anger. وَزَلْزَلَةً, and earthquakes. وَقَصْفًا وَمَسْخًا وَخَسْفًا, transfiguration of faces. Earth sinking. Huge earthquakes and storms coming from the skies. And then Rasulullah said, وَآيَاتٍ تَتَابُعَ. Then you will see in quick succession, very quickly, and the way, if you have a tasbih and a tasbih breaks, how quickly do them, small tasbih pebbles slide out. That's how quickly the big signs will come. And I'll finish on the big signs, my friends, and you know and you will understand how close we are to the trumpet being blown. May Allah keep us safe. I'll go through these signs in order. First of all, and these are the supernatural signs. So, as you can do Salat Jawab, inshallah. Jazakallah, may Allah give us tawfiq to after what's been said. May Allah help us prepare for the hereafter. Now, inshallah, we'll just read Salat Jawab. We're going to do Salat Jawab, inshallah. Okay, come closer, bhai. Salat Jawab pura kar lete hain. Mufti Sahib will do signs of Qiyamah tomorrow, inshallah. If we have time, inshallah. Come closer. Not that close, my friend. Come on, yaar. MashaAllah. Nice to have young faces here today. I hope you've come for the question, not for Mufti Zakaria Mamla Saab's announcement of dinner and refreshments and food. Inshallah. Let's hope there's some good food as well for everybody. क्या ऑर्डर किया? पिज्जा मंगवाया है यार। कनाडा वाले पिज्जा बहुत खाते हैं, बड़े बड़े पिज्जा, एकदम बड़े बड़े मास्टर, मैं तो देख कर ही डर जाता हूँ इसको कैसे खाएंगे। चलो माशाअल्लाह। Okay, there's one zakat related question. I said to Mufti Sahib, aap jawab nahi dena iska. Number 2, are women allowed to recite Quran out loud? Is it true that jinns might get attached to you if you read Quran loudly? Someone is really scared of jinns, man. Jinn ko डरने की story. You shouldn't be scared of jinn. You should scare the jinn off. If you see them, hey, who are you? What do you think you are? Get away from here. One ayatul kursi and he'll run for his life. So don't be scared of jinn. Scare him off. Now, are women allowed to recite Quran out loud? If there is no non-mahram in that room, of course she can read loud. Her voice is parda. If there are any non-mahrams, then she shouldn't read loudly. Because her voice is also satar, parda. But if there is no one, she's alone, or her husband is there, or her family members are there, and she reads loudly, it's no problem. Even if she's got a beautiful voice, she should read loudly with her beautiful voice in front of her husband or her kids. No problem. And don't worry about jinns. Jinns don't get touched. Right? Jinns तो बदमाश होते हैं, गुंडे होते हैं. They like शराब, कबाब, बदमाशी, गुंडागर्दी, film, movies. Why would they come to you? You're reading Quran, man. Quran drives jinns off. Alright, don't worry. Nothing will happen, inshallah. Number 3, Salat begins while I'm Musafirs. Once I get home, do I pray Musafir Salat or do I pray complete Salat? Do you understand the question? You're Musafir, you went somewhere like Cambridge or Cornwall or Montreal and you come back home, right? And there's still 1 hour left for Zohar time. 5 hours have passed for Zohar, 1 hour left. So do you pray half or do you pray full? What's the answer? Full. Because you still got time left. It's Ada and you're home now, you're muqim, so you pray full. Can women lead Salah for women Jamaat? किसी को नमाज पढ़ाने का बहुत शौक है. Can women lead Salah for women Jamaat? Makruh, disliked. Women should not make Jamaat. Sahib Hidayah is written in Hidayah. Jamaatul Nisa makruh. If there are lots of ladies, they pray their own namas. Right? For them to do their Jamaat is makruh. And let's say if they were to do the Jamaat in spite of the karahiyat and dislikeness, then their Imam will not stand ahead, the Imam will stand in the same saf with everyone else. Like when there's two, one Imam, one Muqtadi, they stand together. So if women are praying namaz and they will do Jamaat, then the Imam will stand in the middle, not ahead of others. So, ladies Jamaat is makruh. Why make your namaz makruh? Increase your sawab, pray on your own. The more concealed you ladies are, the more sawab they get. Therefore, ladies should not do Jamaat. Okay? Understood? In the time of Sahaba, Sahabiya, Hazrat Aisha was Hafiza, Hazrat Hafsa was Hafiza, they never did Jamaat. They prayed their own namazes. Number 5, how can we soften a hardened heart of yourself or a close loved one who is struggling with connecting with Islam? How can you soften your heart, yourself and of others? Well, for yourself, someone came to Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, my heart is really hard like a rock. Doesn't melt. Give me some advice. And she said, Imsah ra'sal yatim. Wipe your hand over the head of a yatim. Look at the orphan with pityness and mercy and stroke his head. That will soften your heart. And go visit the sick. Go to the hospital. See some sick people around the world. And follow the janazah. If you're going janazah, you go to Taziyah, you go to the Qabristan, remember your death, this will soften your heart. And the person did accordingly. After a few days he came, Ummul Mu'mineen, thank you very much, your advice was very good. Alhamdulillah, I can feel the softness in my heart. It's now like a sponge, it can absorb advice. I can cry, I can bring some tears to my eyes as well. Your advice worked. So, number one, do this, And number two, read biographies of Anbiya alayhimus salam and of Sahaba kiram. Quran said, وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ مَا نُثَبِّتُ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. In Quran, Allah said, we mention stories upon stories upon stories of Sahaba. This is to strengthen your heart, to give you steadfastness, to make you strong. So, read biographies of Sahaba. Also, biographies of Salaf Salihin, Hayatus Sahaba. Then it is over there in English translation as well. Sahaba stories upon stories upon stories. Read it. And when you read stories, you feel nice. I am here in Canada. I used to do bayan every day in my masjid after Asr. So now as I'm here, I appointed our Yusuf by Dawood. I said, in 7 days, we are absent. After Asr, you have to read the 70 stories at the end of Fazail Sadaqat, and they should be finished within 7 days. All of them said, yes, all of them. Beautiful 70 stories. You have Fazail Sadaqat at home, everybody should have beautiful stories at the end. And there are stories of Zahidi, ascetic people. Those people who had nothing to do with the luxuries of the world. They were Zahid, they didn't like this dunya. They always attached to Akhirah, thinking about Akhirah. You read their stories, I guarantee you your heart will become soft and you feel like crying, like raging, and you will be disconnected and detached from the dunya and connected and attached to the Akhirah, inshallah. So, do that. At the same time, number 4, make dua. Allah soften my heart. Allah will listen to you, inshallah. Read some wazifas for softening of the heart. Do we get du'as, wazifas for softening heart? I mentioned yesterday something that came in my mind. Hazrat Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi said, if you feel some hard-heartedness, you're struggling to pray namaz, you can't keep up with your ma'mulat, you can't get up for Fajr, you can't get yourself to pray Zohar or Maghrib, Isha, you can't get yourself to go to the masjid. Then whichever namaz you pray, then after that namaz, every namaz, read 21 times. How many times? 21 times. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. 21 times. And may Allah, you are Rahman, Rahim. Please give me some rahmah and mercy. And make me merciful as well, make my heart soft. And due to these Asma'i Husna, Allah will soften your heart. Make dua for another person, for whomever you want, Allah soften their heart. Inshallah, Allah will soften their heart as well. What should you know about Islam, or how to go about helping someone to revert to Islam if they have curiosity or an open mind? What should you know about Islam first? Well, every Muslim should know the basics of Islam. And you should understand the basics of Islam, right? You understand Islam with basirat, proper insight, right? And then you can explain to others. If you don't understand yourself, if you're not convinced yourself, how are you going to convince others? So you have to be convinced about your religion, then you can convince others. I was once sitting, we were sitting in the dars of Prohibition with our Hazrat, Maulana my Sheikh, Hazrat Maulana Mutala Sahab, who is buried here in Canada, Toronto. Someone brought a Goriya, white man, for embracing Islam, he wanted to embrace Islam. So we were seated there. Hazrat explained Islam to him so beautifully. I had never heard that type of explanation before in my life. Hazrat said, very good. Have you studied Islam? Do you know? Yes, I know a little bit about Islam. Well, allow me to explain to you. Right? Um, we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is one. He is the creator of the universe. He is the sustainer of the universe. He is powerful. He has all good attributes. He has no weaknesses in him, no faults, no defects. He is perfect. He is the one who controls and manages the whole universe. We believe that He has angels, a special creation, who are being assigned some duties, and they fulfill those duties, carry out the work which is assigned to them. We believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent some messengers to the creation to guide them. They are His Rasul, they are His ambassadors. He selects them, He reveals wahi to them, He entrusts them with His message. And we believe that He revealed many books as well, and those books were given to the prophets. And we believe in life after death, that this life is not everything. After we die, we go on the grave. One day, we will come out of our grave, we will stand before Allah, and we will give, our account will be taken, and we will be questioned, we will answer. Then there is Jannah, Jahannam. Do you believe in all this? Oh yes, I believe in all this. So these are imaniyat and aqidah. If you deny any of these, you go out of the fold of Islam. So if you believe in all these, you will remain a Muslim. This is one side, aqidah. And then on the other side, we have some a'mal, some things to do, do's and don'ts. We have to pray 5 times a day. We have to fast 1 month in a year. And we have to give zakat of surplus wealth which is sitting in the bank doing nothing, 2.5% of that when a year passes over that. And we have to go for Hajj once in a lifetime. And we have to avoid some things, zina, sharab, drugs, liquor, fornication, porn, all these things which Allah has prohibited. Do you understand this? Yes, I understand that. If you believe that these are Allah's ahkam, you will remain a Muslim. But if you fail to do any of them, like you fail to pray, or you fail to keep roza, or you fail to give zakat, or you fail with regards to pork or wine and liquor or zina, and you make some mistake and you err, you won't get out of the fold of Islam. You will still be a Muslim, but there will be some deficiency in your Islam, in your iman. You have to correct yourself, you have to do tawbah, repent, and be a better person. Do you understand that? Yes. On the aqidah side, if you deny anything, you will get out of the fold of Islam. On the amal side, if you don't do something, you won't go out of the fold of Islam. You will still remain a Muslim because you're believing in everything that Allah said. He explained it in this way. Do you understand? Do you have any questions? I don't have any questions. Are you ready? And then Hazrat helped you to declare Shahada. You see how beautiful and short, in a few minutes, Hazrat explained it. I've just given a summary of some things that Hazrat has said. So, you yourself need to understand your Islam first, then you will be able to convince others. So, this is basic knowledge which every individual Muslim must have. Do you get it? Understand? Move on. What is your opinion on riba and the commonality of it today, and people saying there's no other choice, and the sin of it? By my opinion, right? Riba is not something where a person can form his opinion. It's not a mujtahad fi masla, where you have to go Quran, Hadith, research, deduce, and then Imam Abu Hanifa's opinion, Imam Shafi's opinion, Imam Malik's opinion, Imam Ahmad's opinion. You know, there are some masail which are clear-cut farz or clear-cut haram. So nobody can, you can't say Imam Abu Hanifa said that Fajr is farz, or Imam Shafi said that riba is haram, or Imam Malik said zina is haram. These are clear-cut masail. Allah said it, Allah Rasul said it. So you don't ask me my opinion on riba. Riba, Allah Himself said in the Quran. Will you remember the verse if I tell you? Surah Al-Baqarah, 3rd Sipara, 6th Ruku. Allah said, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. Allah has allowed buying and selling, and Allah has made haram riba, interest. Finish. وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. Allah has made riba haram. You can't get involved in the riba system. You can't take interest from people. You can't pay interest. Because you pay interest, you are being part and parcel of that system. If there's lots of people paying interest, that's where the bank fat cats get their interest money from, they become rich. The rich grow richer and the poor become poorer. So riba system is only for the elite who make money from it, and the general public keep getting poorer and poorer and poorer. You work your socks off and you can't pay your mortgage off. And by the time you pay it off after 25, 30 years, it's time to go in the grave. Your feet are hanging in the grave. So why get into that system? Avoid it. What about commonality of today? People saying there's no other choice. No. If a sin becomes common, that does not mean it becomes halal. If zina becomes common, does zina become halal? No. If everybody is taking drugs and liquor, the liquor and the wine become halal? No. Even if common people do it, it's still haram is haram. We are Muslims. We have to tell you that these things are haram. So riba is haram. And there is great sin in riba. And Huzur normally mentions sins of taking riba. Suit, charging people. Like let's say Mr. A is a millionaire and he's got no business. All he does is he lends people money and he charges them interest, and that's how he's surviving. Now, when he's taking money from people, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says in one hadith, 1 dirham of riba is worse than doing 36 zina with your own mother. Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said on the night of Mi'raj, he saw some scenes, and he saw Jahannam, and in Jahannam there were people with large bellies like a room, and inside the bellies there were snakes and scorpions. They were biting him from the inside, and he's in great pain. Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked Jibreel, what is that? And he said, these are people who used to take interest from people. That interest money is in their bellies in the form of snakes and scorpions, and they are being punished for that. So there is great sin in riba. So don't get involved in riba. Please stay away from interest money. Okay? You know what interest is? Kullu qardun jarra naf'an fahuwa riba. Any loan you give to someone and you derive money from it is riba, is interest. So don't give someone $100 and take back from him $120, $1,000 and take back from him $1,200, $100,000 from buying house and take back from him $150,000. This is riba. It's haram. You can't do that. How do we survive? People are surviving. Stay in rent, take private mortgage, family, friends, right? People will help you. And you can get private mortgage, and inshallah Allah will provide. Right? Try your best, work some way out. When you are adamant, you want to avoid riba, you'll be able to avoid it. There's no question about that. 9. Is the Arabic language of the Quran the same as the Arabic language spoken today? And how do you go about learning to understand and speak it as a normal person? First question is the Arabic language of the Quran the same as the Arabic language spoken today? Now the Arabic language spoken today in Arab countries has various dialects. Right? There are different ways of pronouncing. Saudi, UAE, and Tunisia, and Algeria, and Morocco, they have different dialects. Right? Misri, and one don't understand the other. Right? So that is not exactly the language of Quran. The language of Quran is called Al-Fusha, the classical Arabic. Right? So there's difference between what the Arabs converse and use among them and the Fusha of the Quran Sharif language. Once I was in USA, I don't know, Detroit or Atlanta, and I was on the airport going. And we were on the escalator. And then this American guy standing next to me. Hi, you Muslim? Yeah, I'm Muslim. Wow, nice. I like Islam. I've studied Islam. Can I ask you something? I said, yeah. You know, I'm thinking of going to work in Arabian country, but I have noticed that there are various dialects of Arabian language. Which one should I learn? Which Arabic should I learn? So I said to him, you are right, there are various types. I feel you should learn the Fusha, the classical one. Because if you know the classical Arabic, then you'll be able to go around all the countries and you'll be able to figure out what they're saying. But if you learn one dialect and one style, you won't understand the other one. So, बेचारा इतने में तो escalator ऊपर निकल गया, he went right, I went left. So, first of all, there's difference between the Fusha and the language of today. Secondly, how do you go about learning to understand and speak it as a normal person? Well, you have to go to Darul, sit in front of ulama kiram, learn the sarf and nahwu and the grammar and Arabic, and then you learn inshallah. So you have to work. If you don't have time for that, there are online classes as well. Learn it. It's good. You become an alim, inshallah, you'll be able to save your iman and save the iman of others as well. It's good you got the desire to learn Arabic, find a way out and you will learn it, inshallah. 10. Is it true that Sahih Bukhari is a book of hadith only meant for scholars to read and that common people are meant to read another version? Forgot the name of the book. Part of it is true. Because Sahih al-Bukhari has all types of hadith in there. And it's for reference. It's like that manual on the desk of the doctor when you go to the surgery. The doctor understands the manual. You ask him for some medicine, he opens it, he looks through those little pages. Well, now it's Mr. Google, but in the olden days they used to have that thick book on the table and they would go and check which medicine you give. And if you were to take that manual, you can't understand it. But the doctor understands it. So Sahih Bukhari is like that. It's for the professors, the ulama kiram, who study 6, 7, 8 years and they get to the final stage and it's in the classroom and it's told from cover to cover and the intricacies and everything detail is explained to people. So it's not meant for general public. For general public, he forgot the name of the book. I'll tell him the name of the book. It's Riyadus Salihin. Riyadus Salihin is about building characters and being a nice person. And it takes you through stages of life, what is needed. So Riyadus Salihin is good for the general public. At-Targheeb wa Tarheeb of Munziri is good. Fadail A'mal of Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria is also a book of hadith. That's also a good book. These books are for general public. Sahih Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, Nasa'i, they are for studying. When you get to that Dawrai hadith, they are for them for studying. Since there are lots of youth present on Saturday night, can you speak about how important it is to connect and understand the Quran and the meaning of the words and the stories and history of Islam and the prophets, so they know it's not just a story of some other time, but the present reality they live in? But that's what ulama kiram do from this minbar, from this chair. Yeah, every day we're having speeches, right? Bayans, question answers, because we want you to understand your deen, right? Now for Quran Sharif, you have to understand, learn it, right? You have to go through that process. Like you go to school, right? And you go through your school and then you rise up to college and then university and then you have your PhD degree, your master's degree, BA and MA. So similarly in deen as well, right? You have to go through this gradual process and then you understand the Quran in full and what the tafsir is trying to say. You could do something when Mufti Zakaria Sahib is giving Dars Quran over here, join in the Dars and learn from Mufti Sahib and other ulama ikram, other durus which take place around your city. And of course, you should understand, read. I've just told you, read stories of Sahaba from Hayatus Sahaba. It'll soften your heart. Read history of Islam. History of Islam is very rich. Ibn Battuta's Safarnama, his travel log, is amazing. It's very rich. Our history is very rich. You learn your history and you will study and you will move forward, inshallah. 12. If a woman has lost all her hair, does she still need to continue to cover her head? Of course. Even if some ladies, they have cancer or something and they lose all their hair because of the chemotherapy treatment, but that does not mean that they can keep their head open. No. Islam says they have to cover their head, their face, their neck, their bosom. So you have to cover. Parda is necessary even if she's got no hair on the head. Is it okay to name your child after a family member who has passed away? Yes, it is perfectly okay. It's in Sunnah as well. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to the Sahaba, last night I had a son and I have named him Ibrahim according to my grandfather's name. That was Ibrahim, born to Maria Qibtiyya radiyallahu anha. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself named his son Ibrahim. Okay, this one is a very long question. Then I'll leave it for the end if we have time. Let's go on these small ones. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Hazrat Sahib. I was wondering what a murid should do to gain more love for his Shaykh and gain closeness to the Shaykh. MashaAllah, good question. Listen to the talks of your Shaykh. Lots of talks available where you are there to listen to their bayans. Number one, do their khidmat if you can get the chance to do it. And number three, practice on their instructions and guidelines. Ma'mulat. They give ma'mulat prescriptions. Like if doctor gives you prescription, you have to take that medicine. If you don't take it, then you won't get better. So if your shaykh gives you some ma'mulat, he prescribes for you, you have to practice on those ma'mulat. And then number four, stay connected. Time to time, keep messaging, WhatsApp, email, stay in touch, connection. And inshallah should be enough. Also read biographies of Mashayikh. If you can read Tazkiratul Rashid, Tazkiratul Khalil, Abiti of the Shaykh, extremely beneficial. They have been translated in English as well. Originally they didn't Urdu, but read their English translation if you can. Standing with hands on hip and chest out is discouraged. So how should one stand? Hands together in front or behind the back? Okay, relax. Allah wants flexibility. Right? Don't put yourself in difficulty. Okay? Standing with hands on the hip, chest drawn out. Right? Yes, this is discouraged, disliked. You know why? Why? When Allah kicked Shaitan out of Jannah, he threw his chest out and put his hand out and he came down like this. So if you stand like that and walk like that, then you are doing tashabbuh with Iblis. So it's not right. Adam alayhi salam came with humility. His head lowered, he was crying. So showing humility is what Allah wants. So stand however you want, but have humility in your posture. How does one know that the shaykh they intended to take bayat with is Shaykh Kamil? What kitab should the seeker on the path read before taking bayat? The signs of Shaykh Kamil are mentioned in the Tasawwuf kitabs. First important is that he must be muttabi sunnat. He must be following sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in all walks of life. Second, he must have been in the sohbat of shuyukh. He must have spent time with his mashayikh. And number three, he must have ijazat from his shaykh. Without ijazat, he can't become a shaykh. So many signs there. And what kitab should read? Path to Perfection of Hazrat Maulana Musiullah Sahab. Very nice book. Read that and inshallah you'll benefit from there. People say there is no use of studying in a madrasa because you are just keeping the knowledge with you and not helping the community around you. As such, they promote programs that dilute the madrasa tartib in order to get more people into the door. How do we encourage our friends and family to see the benefit of putting kids in madrasa full time? Long question, my friend. First, you said people say there is no use of studying in madrasa. Is that right or wrong? It's wrong. Of course, studying in madrasa is beneficial. They learn something, they learn something. If you don't get the whole flower, you get some petals at least. Little bit of knowledge, you learn something, at least you stay in the environment of the madrasa. So don't say it's of no use. And because you are just keeping knowledge with you and not helping the community around you, that's not right either. Ulama kiram learn and they do try their best to pass that knowledge on to others. What is your Imam Sahib doing? What are your ulama kiram doing? They try to pass that knowledge on to others. Programs dilute the madrasa system. This is something we should look into. Because if you make, short courses, only evening or weekend, then you don't get the full benefit. It's best to go in a madrasa, maybe in boarding, full-time studying, that has more profound effect on the personality. But that does not deny some effect of the evening madrasas either. Many, alhamdulillah, go on to become alim and they study and they mashallah go on to teach and they benefit others, even just through evening classes as well. Our Maulana Zahid Sahib is here. He is a civil engineer. And with his civil engineering, he studied in Miftahul Ulum with Maulana Mufti Inayatullah Sahib in the evening classes. And mashallah, he is here, he is benefiting. Today he is doing the course on Palestine, importance of Palestine. So you can study in the evening, you can be a good alim and good alima as well. So don't undermine the work ulama kiram are doing. Someone told me that Deobandis are too strict on following a certain set of opinions and not respecting, acknowledging ikhtilaf within the four schools. How do we keep unity within our ranks and also stay confident in our maslak? Someone told me, who's that someone? Don't listen to someone. Someone could be anyone. Could be Shaitan. Shaitan is splitting people's minds. So don't listen to these types of hearsays. Deobandis are too strict. You think I'm strict? I'm Deobandi. I'm not strict. I'm here joking with you, laughing, having a nice time. Right? We're not strict. Alhamdulillah, we're flexible. And we do not respect, acknowledge ikhtilaf within four school. That's a blatant lie. You've never been to a Darul. Have you been to a Darul? Have you ever sat in Mishkat lesson? Have you ever sat in Bukhari lesson? What do we teach in the Mishkat? What do we teach in the Hidayah? All four mazahib. Imam Shafi says this, Imam Malik says this, Imam Ahmad says this, Imam Hanifa's opinion is this. We teach all the four mazahib. We respect all mazahib. Did you not pray namaz with us over here? Did you not hear many people saying Amin loudly? Are we strict on that? Hanafi mazhab says Amin should be silent. But there are many people saying Amin loudly. We're not strict with them. It's good they're practicing on their mazhab. One person from Ahl Hadith, he was studying in Hazrat Sheikh Zakariya's Madrasa, Saharanpur, Madrasa Mazahib. And he once said that, Hazrat, I want to get bayat to you. There's no problem. And he said, I also want to become Hanafi. Hazrat said, no. You don't need to change your maslak. Hold on to your maslak. Because you're going to get graduated. You're going to go back home. Your environment is of Ahl Hadith. You stick to your Ahl Hadith, no problem. You don't need to change your maslak because of me. So he got bayat as well. And he held on to his maslak. So our akabir have been really flexible. And many incidents you will find like this. They used to respect one another. Maulana Nazir Hussain Dehlavi, he once had a debate with Hazrat Maulana Qasim Nanotwi Rahmatullah. Long debate. He was the leader of Ahle Hadith in Delhi. And Maulana Qasim Nanotwi, the founder of Darul Deoband, was the leader of Hanafi ulama. Deobandi Hanafi ulama. Now, they had long discussion. At the end, Maulana Nazir Hussain said to Maulana Qasim Nanotwi, I'm surprised that a scholar like you with so vast amount of knowledge and you are still a muqallid of Imam Abu Hanifa, follow Imam Abu Hanifa. So Hazrat Maulana smiled and he said, you appreciate my ilm knowledge. I am surprised that a person like you with very little knowledge that is not following an Imam. And he was also laughing. You're right. So there is no animosity or anything within the hearts. And within the Madhhabs, Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, many people, Malaysians, Indonesians are Shafi'is. Many from Senegal, Mauritania, Morocco are Malikis. Right? We said, no problem, hold on to your Madhhab, my friend. So, what someone told you, whoever told you, is not right. And Alhamdulillah, we do respect all Madhahib. We teach all Madhahib. And we have special place in our hearts for all Madhahib. 7. Vaping has become very popular. Shisha has become so normalized. We see a lot of people smoking it nowadays. What is the ruling on vaping and shisha? Is it permissible to smoke with no nicotine and tobacco? Please clarify. Jazakallah khair. Vaping, smoking, shisha. First of all, it's makruh. What is it? Meaning it's disliked. Right? Don't smoke. Don't vape. Don't smoke shisha. Now, this is when a person is doing it on an individual basis. But if this is done in a cafe with mixing of genders, both boys and girls sitting side by side, and there's large TV screen with Bollywood movie and music and dance, what will happen? Tell me, will it stay makruh or will it become haram? Haram, because there's lots of other things involved. Then, if there is some other substances mixed in, drugs, or some other types of flavorings, nicotine, which is harmful for your body, then the gravity of it will increase. So, we can say there is little bit of difference between an individual use in your home in one area and mixing, etc. Cigarette is makruh, vaping is makruh, dislike, don't do it. Let me tell you a story. There was this person who was pious, who used to read Durood Sharif a lot. Every day he would be reading lots of Durood Sharif. He would see the Prophet ﷺ in his dream, but he would see him from a distance, he can't see his face. So one day he mentioned it to one of his friends who was a Muslim. And he said, I don't know why. I see the Prophet ﷺ, but I can't see his face. I see him from a distance, not from close. So his friend asked him, do you smoke? And he had to say, man, bidi pita. India you get those small bidis. Say, I smoke bidis. And that's the reason. You give up your bidis, inshallah you'll be able to see him. And he said, okay. And he gave up his smoking. Next time he saw Prophet ﷺ very close, his face, Prophet ﷺ was happy, and he was blessed with his ziyarah because of his Durood Sharif. You see? So you do something makruh. Now remember another thing. Makruh is also sin. Right? Don't think that only haram is sin. Makruh is also sin. Might be a small sin, but it's a sin. It's recorded. Right? So avoid those things which are makruh as well. So vaping, shisha are makruh. Avoid it to the best of your ability. It has medical harms to it as well. So please, please, please try your best to stay away from it. You know, it's the first puff which leads to it. So when someone offers you the first one, say, nah, don't want it. Because once you go on that route 1, 2, 3 times and you're gone, you're on that slippery slope after that. And especially with drugs, highly addictive. So don't take drugs ever. Don't go on that route at all. You won't be able to give up. Believe me, it's really hard. It's a struggle. I've had many cases where they went to rehabilitation center, they became good and they behaved, and after a few months, back on the same route. And then they did Tawbah again, and after a few months, back on the same route. They just can't give up. When they have some problem, some tension in the house, nagging wife, they just go to the drugs and start smoking. Feel better now. So they can't get off it. Therefore, don't go on that route. Allah protect you and all our youngsters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. What is the best age to marry and how do I approach her? Don't approach her, yeah, approach her father. What is the best age to marry? I think I would say best age is when you have a bit of dosh. Your jab is garam. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi's wasaya said to Qazi Abu Yusuf, "O Abu Yusuf, first study. You are a young man, make sure you study hard. Study as much knowledge do you want. And after you've completed your studies, get a nice job, get some money, and then get married. Because if you don't have a nice regular income and you get married, then you will be hungry and will keep her hungry as well. You see the tartib, right? So take things easy, control your desires, and when you are ready, then get married. Just because we live in an environment where there's so much nudity, sometimes I use the word we live in a sex-mad society. The society is mad about sex. They don't think about anything besides that word. So that affects us as well. We are Muslims. We're supposed to have some haya, sharam, modesty. But our haya goes away. And we also become like them. So rather than doing that, control your desires, do the right stuff, study properly, get a nice job, and you have some regular income, then get married. That is the proper way. Our respected friend by Ayaz Bhai was saying, maybe 25 is the right age. ऐसे बोला था आपने क्योंकि उस वक्त you studied, you completed your studies, you got a nice job, you got a regular income, and maybe perhaps you can afford a flat or your own residence as well, and then you get married. That's better. So normally I say the quicker the better. मैंने कल बताया था 18 की शादी कर लो, लेकिन आज डिस्कशन से मुझे समझ में आया कि नहीं 18 नहीं, जरा बच्चों को थोड़ी मैच्योरिटी आ जाए उसके बाद करें तो बेहतर होगा. Can we eat in a restaurant that serves both halal and haram food? How about Tim Hortons that sell haram bacon and also halal donuts? अच्छा, पहला क्वेश्चन तो क्या है? Restaurant that serves both halal and haram food, right? Can we eat there? What would you say? Can we eat there? Tell me, is there any risk of cross-contamination or not? Is there any risk that the pots could be changed or the chamchas could be mixed here and there? Spoons. There is risk. So you might be saying they're feeding you halal, but there could be some haram mixed in it. Right? One of my friends used to work in McDonald's, right, some time ago. And he said, Mullah Sahib, don't eat chips as well. I said, why? He said, end of the day, they refine the oil at night. And they put all the oil in one cleaner, and then they filter it out, and then use it the next day. And the oil which was used for frying chips, and the oil which was used for frying hamburger or pork, they both mix, and the oil becomes napak, and then they use it next day. So cross-contamination, avoid it. And Tim Hortons sells bacon, halal. Tim Hortons coffee in itself is allowed. There's no mixing or haram thing in it. However, if people are boycotting it for other reasons, that's something else. I'm not talking on that. But see the coffee, and there's nothing haram ingredient in there. There's no risk of cross-contamination. So we can't say the coffee would be haram. Coffee could be halal. Avoid it. But if you're majboor or something and you drink it sometime here and there, maybe. Can we eat mechanical slaughtered halal meat? We answered this question yesterday as well. Now if you go to a restaurant, ask them, where do you take your zabiha from if you want to? You go there regularly, that's another thing. But new place, you go to some other town, Montreal or Cornwall or somewhere, Cambridge, and you go to a restaurant, a Muslim restaurant, halal. So, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? Respectfully, Bhai Sahab, the manager said, can I ask one question if you don't mind? Okay, where do you get your meat from? Who's your supplier? And he says, our suppliers is so and so. And you know that, they are halal suppliers. So, or if you don't know, you can ask them, is your zabiha hand slaughtered or mechanically slaughtered? If it's hand slaughtered, you're okay to eat it. Mechanically slaughtered, you know how this mechanical slaughter is? Mechanical slaughtering is, there's this knife there, and the chicken comes on the belt, conveyor belt, and they press the button, right? Bismillah Allahu Akbar. And the belt starts moving, and the knife is there, and the chicken is passing by and it's cutting. So the first chicken, Bismillah Allahu Akbar, will be halal, but the next one follows will be halal, because there's no Bismillah on it. Right? Bismillah is shart, and tarku tasmiyati amadan, deliberately leaving Bismillah means that the animal is not halal. And number two, in mechanical slaughtering, what happens is the bird is electrocuted and then it's slaughtered. And many times when it's electrocuted, it's given some current. I've been to one poultry to see how they do it. So the truck comes outside with the crate of live chicken, and there's two men there, and they grab hold of the chicken or tie uski pakde uski feet and hang it onto the belt. And the belt is moving, going inside. So we see that when we come inside from the door and we enter the zabah place, the chicken is coming in and there's a large bowl of water with current in it. If you put your hand in there, you get current. So the chicken is hanging with his head down, right? It's coming, and the head goes in that bowl of water. And the chicken is number one suffocated. Because of the water, he can't breathe, and then he's got current. Right? And then it's electrocuted. And then he goes forward, and the Zabih is standing over there to do zabah. Right? So he says, Bismillah, and he does zabah. Now, many times what happens is, by the time the chicken is electrocuted and he gets to the Zabih, he's already dead. One report in BBC said that 33 out of 100 chickens die when they're electrocuted. Right? So if it's slaughtered mechanically with this stunning, then what happens is the chicken dies before he gets to the zabah. So even if he's doing zabah for that chicken. Right? So this is why we say non-stunned, hand-cut chicken is pure halal, and eat that and avoid mechanically slaughtered chickens. This is a little bit of explanation. We're moving on, we come to finish now. Can I cut relationship with family members if I know they are doing hasad and jealous people? No. Try your best to be nice to them. Our Prophet ﷺ told us, Silman qata'a, wa'fu amman zalamak, wa ahsin ila man asara. Just because you feel they're doing hasad, that does not mean you can cut them off. They're still your relatives. Be nice to your relatives, join your relations. प्लीज करना है अच्छा भाई जो वो तकदीर वाला सवाल तो रह गया इसको फिर कल करना है एक सवाल last सवाल on this page. Apparently it's only a desi thing Indian Pakistani to make congregational dua after namaz, and also only a desi thing to wipe your hands after dua on your face. What's your opinion on this? And how did this come to be? A lot of people in different parts of the world, including Maulanas, say it's bid'ah. If so many people of different levels of Iman say this, why is it that our leaders in the masjids do this without knowing or correcting this? If you can answer, verify, correct this question, that would be great. My friend, I'm not happy with your questions. There's more accusation in there than question. You said it's only a desi thing to make congregational dua. What's your dalil for that? Give me a dalil. Where do you get this from? It's only a desi thing. Who said it's a desi thing? Where do you get it from? You're wrong. It's not a desi thing. It's in Hadith. If you don't know Hadith, then that's your problem. Go and learn and study. Don't come here and accuse us of doing things which are wrong. You've got no knowledge, you're jahil, and you're accusing us like this. That congregation, Ijtimai dua after Nawaz is desi thing and is bidat. How did it come to be? It's in the Hadith. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was asked, Ayyu dua yasma? Which dua is heard most? And he said, Jawful layl al-akhir wa dubur as-salawat al-maktubat. In the last portion, and in the middle portion of the last part of the night. Sahri time. When you get up, tahajjud time, you pray few rakat tahajjud, you raise your hands, make dua, Allah will accept your dua. Number one. And number two, after farz namazes. Dubur as-salawat al-maktubat. So, after farz namaz, du'as are accepted. Mufti Mahmudul Hasan Sahib, Gangohi Rahmatullah Alayhi Fatawa Mahmudiyah, has written that everybody wants their du'as to be accepted. So Imam Sahib lifted his hand to make dua because he wants his dua to be accepted. Congregation also lifted their hand because they want their duas to be accepted. So it's a coincidence, let's say, that everybody wants their dua to be accepted. So everybody is making dua. What's wrong in there? And then Hazrat Maulana Abdul Hafiz Makki has written very nice risala, Istihbab al-Du'ai ba'da al-Maktubah. And he's given the reason. You ask that wiping on the face, wiping the hand on the face is a desi thing. You're wrong there as well, my friend. There is a hadith for that as well. That Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِذَا دَعَوْتُمُ اللَّهَ فَادْعُوهُ بِبُطُونِ أَكُفِّكُمْ وَلَا تَدْعُوهُ بِظُهُورِهِ فَإِذَا فَرَغْتُمْ فَامْسَحُوا بِهِمَا وُجُوهَكُمْ. Hadith है मुझा उसमें मौलाना अब्दुल हफीज साहब ने नकल की है. When you make dua with your inner palms of your hands, not the outer side. And when you finish your dua, wipe your hands on your face. So you're wrong, it's not a desi thing, it's in the hadith. Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself used to do that, Sahaba used to see him do that. It's mutawaris. Many things are mutawaris, people don't know and they object. So, then you are saying, why are Maulanas not correcting people on this? If you are accusing us of desi and you're telling us we should correct people. You're wrong, and you're telling us I am wrong, and I have to correct people. You know, this is reversing thing. Imam, I'm finishing now, 2 minutes. Imam Nawawi Rahmatullah has written in Sharh Muslim with masala of Amr bil Ma'ruf Nahi Anil Munkar. Imam Nawawi said, to do Amr bil Ma'ruf Nahi Anil Munkar, you have to know the Ma'ruf and you have to know the Munkar. If you don't know the Ma'ruf, if you don't know the Munkar, then you will confuse things. You will stop people from Ma'ruf and you will order people to do the Munkar. Because you are jahil, you don't know yourself. So he said, first you have to learn. And when you know, you have full knowledge that this is good, then you tell people to do the good. When you know that this is wrong, then you tell people to avoid the wrong. If you don't know the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, you can't do Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi Anil Munkar. You're not allowed to do that. Do you understand the Muslim properly? So, let me finish by saying, Hazrat Maulana has written in their hadith from Musannaf Ibn Abi Shayba. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on one occasion, after Fajr Salah, made dua, Sahaba lifted their hands up
And he made long dua, and Sahaba said, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen in the dua. Now, one hadith is sufficient to say that it's permissible to do dua, ijtimai congregation after namaz. Another hadith, Abu Umama Bahili radiallahu anhu reports that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam once made a very nice dua, and we said, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. When he finished, we said, Ya Rasulullah, you made so beautiful duas today. We can't remember all these duas. What should we do? And he said, make this dua. Allahumma inni as'aluka min khayri ma sa'alaka minhu nabiyyuka Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa a'udhu bika min sharri ma sta'adaka minhu nabiyyuka Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You will get everything that I have asked for. So you see in there, another hadith Hazrat Maulana has narrated, لا يجتمع ملهم فيدعو بعض ويؤمن بعض إلا أجابهم. Whenever a few people gather and one makes dua and others say Ameen, Allah responds to their dua. This hadith is also in there. There's lots of hadith. I'm only mentioning to you maybe half a dozen. That should be enough, right? So this dua which we make after namaz is not a desi thing, my friend. You're mistaken in there. Somebody's given you wrong information. It's right. It's according to Quran and Sunnah. There is no harm in there. Let me tell you, you have to understand the Shari hukam of things. This dua is not farz. This dua is not wajib. This dua is not sunnah. At most, that dua is mustahab. What is it? Mustahab. And this is why we don't force everybody to do it. Some people are joining the dua, others are not doing it. We don't say to the person, hey, dua kam nahi mangdo. Right? You want to join in dua, join in. You don't want to, no problem. It's a mustahab thing. But don't object on those who are doing that dua. And this is why in my masjid, every day after Fajr, I make a long dua for 5 minutes. Because the other people don't know the duas. Every day I make different duas, so they can all join in those different duas of Hizbul Azam. People, they love the dua. Alhamdulillah, they come to my masjid just for the dua. That Maulvi Sahab Fajr baad bahut achhi dua mangte hain. So, you have to make dua, loud dua, everybody saying Ameen, join in there, Allah will accept, inshallah. There's one question which requires a long answer about taqdeer. हो गया यार, शायद दिमाग चाटना हो गया. सुभानअल्लाह व बिहम्दिही अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्ला अंता अस्तगफिरुका व अतूबु इलैक. परवरदिगार आलम हमारे यहाँ उठना बैठना कहना सुनना पढ़ना पढ़ाना कबूल फरमाइए. रमजान के रोजे कबूल फरमाइए, तरावियां कबूल फरमाइए. परवरदिगार आलम, so many youngsters here today, reward them for the time they took out to come to the masjid. Allah, benefit them from the discussions that have taken place. Allah, give us understanding of our deen and give us the ability to practice upon our deen. Give us the ability and the tawfiq to learn our deen from our ulama kiram and to practice on the deen and respect our ulama kiram, our muftiyan izam, and to learn from them. Allah, protect the deen and iman of these youngsters. Keep them strong on deen. Keep them steadfast on sirat mustaqim. Accept our humble du'as. Be pleased with us. Give us all the good things which your beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked from you, and protect us from all those evils from which he sought your protection. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه برحمتك يا رب.